Is this a drill or something?
In the recent novel Star Wars Bloodline by Claudia Gray, it featured numerous incredibly visceral and quite brutal revelations about Princess Leia's past peppered throughout. Now, amongst them, we're told, without a shadow of a doubt, that she not only drew on the dark side to fuel her with her anger and rage, but also unknowingly drew on the dark side to slay an enemy, and we actually saw it in the original trilogy of films itself.
She'll be all right. Inform Lord Vader we have a prisoner.
Just to set the tone, one revelation we had as to how she was fueled by the dark side was to a young Senator, Ransom Costefo, who confides in her that he witnessed Vader's atrocities firsthand as a child in an Imperial camp.
Lord Vader, we were ambushed upon arrival, but I have the situation well in...
I have no interest in your failures, Commander. I am here on a mission of my own.
In turn, she opens up about her first utterly inhumane encounter with Darth Vader on the Death Star. Here it is.
At the beginning of the war against the Empire, just as the Imperial Senate was dissolved, she swallowed hard. My ship was captured by the Devastator. That was Darth Vader's flagship at the time. He personally brought me to the Death Star where he questioned me. Comprehension dawned in Casterfo's eyes. You mean... Just say it. I mean he tortured me for hours, while a couple of his Imperial stormtroopers watched. Sometimes that got to her when nothing else did.
And now, Your Highness, we will discuss the location of your hidden rebel base.
The troopers had been soldiers of the line. Some of them had honestly believed they were doing the right thing, or so she told herself. But how could you believe that after you watched a 19-year-old girl writhing on the floor and screaming for mercy that never came? How could you stand there and watch that girl convulse in helpless agony without doing something, anything to help? Apparently, some people could. Then he brought me to witness Alderaan's destruction. Vader's hand gripped my shoulder just after I watched my planet die. He made me suffer in every way a human being can suffer, all for the love of the Emperor.
But don't worry. We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
No. I hated him so much, she whispered. The breeze blew past them, rustling the blue blossom trees within the hanging gardens. It was as if they were helping to hide her painful words. Sometimes I felt as if the only thing that kept me going in the aftermath of Alderaan was the strength of my hatred for Vader. For my father. As always when Leia thought about this, she called upon what Luke had told her of their father's last hours. He had renounced darkness, saved Luke, and become Anakin Skywalker again. Whenever Luke told the story, a beatific smile lit up his face. His memories of that event gave him a level of comfort and even joy that sustained him. Those were memories Leia couldn't share.
You were right about me. Tell your sister. You were right.
Holy shit, that's ruthless! That in itself reveals Leia was using her hate of Vader as fuel to sustain her during the war. I mean, understandably so. She had no formal Jedi training to safeguard her, and she would have no knowledge of her latent force abilities, which, if used improperly, would be devastating. I mean, if she unleashed them upon the galaxy, whoa! However, later in the course of the novel, it is shown through her own words that she used the dark side to kill. And it starts off by a Nikto crime lord referring to her as Hutt Slayer, as he has a deep hatred for Jabba the Hutt. She then watches a hollow cube with him, which is recording of herself killing Jabba, and mentally she walks through the act blow by blow.
Otto, you're playing the wrong message.
The holocube flickered, and projected around it was the image of Jabba reclining on his platform. Leia herself in dancing girl costume shackled to his side. They were on the sail barge, and these were the last moments of Jabba the Hutt's life. Leia remembered the heat, the stench, the grit of sand against her skin, and the terrible, nauseating fear she'd felt for both Han and Luke. The risks they'd taken, had they lost their minds? No, they'd only been young and courageous, sure of their own invincibility. It had been a long time since Leia felt that untouchable. Jabba ordered Luke thrown into the great pit of Carkoon. Moments later, chaos broke out. With a kind of awe, Leia watched herself sling the heavy chains around Jabba's neck. The sheer strength it took to compress a Hutt's neck to the point of asphyxiation, she had summoned that from somewhere deep inside, remembered doing so, but found it almost unbelievable to witness. Pure hatred had fueled her. Her arms seemed to ache with remembered strain. Of course, she had been unable to see Jabba's face as he died. Leia watched him now, taking in each detail. The bulging of his heavy-lidded eyes, the protrusion of his slimy tongue. She felt neither revulsion nor triumph, only the echo of her own desperation. His death had been fulfilling to her back then, but now it was irrelevant. Only an ugly thing that had to be done. When Jabba grunted his last, the hologram flickered out.
It's actually said in canon that Hutts were known to be tough and muscular and thick with leathery skin which was wrinkled and slimy. Look, it actually means that it'll be incredibly hard. Their neck itself is actually nearly pure muscle, though Jabba's actually a little bit softer than other Hutts that we've seen recently. For a normal human being to strangle a Hutt would be absolutely near impossible, it seems. Of course, without the aid of the Force. And it was a very big revelation to me to see Princess Leia act in such a way and really feel from her perspective how much she had to draw on hate to sustain her because of the atrocities that were committed against her. But the beauty of this video is our love of Star Wars surrounds and it binds us together. So let me know, do you think the path of the dark side is a choice, or the dark side can be used for good without dictating your fate forever? Because if you love Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that. If you want to stay up to date with the latest Star Wars videos on origins, games, and theories, don't forget to use those Force powers of yours and hit subscribe. And hey, leave a comment below about what you want to see in future videos. It may just get covered. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Always.